My journey to South Africa began April 22nd, 2025. I flew from the US to London and chose a long layover because I was going to visit London and maybe hang out with King Charles. I deplaned in Johannesburg, where I immediately ran into a young man who had just competed in the Boston Marathon. I knew this was going to be a great trip. Johannesburg was founded in 1886 and is the largest city in South Africa and is known as the City of Gold due to the massive gold deposits that were discovered centuries ago, making it the most important financial region in all of Africa. Upon leaving the airport, I was transported to an upscale modern hotel in the Sandton area. The next morning, our tour began in Soweto, where the former homes of Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu are located. Did you know that both these great leaders lived on the same street? Vilakazi Street in Soweto's Orlando West neighborhood is famous for being the only street in the world where two Nobel Peace Prize laureates lived. Mandela was born in 1918 and passed away in 2013. In the 1940s, he became active in the fight against apartheid. His protests led to his arrest in 1962, and he spent 27 years in prison. He was released on February 11, 1990, and in 1994 became South Africa's first Black president. He died at the age of 95. Soweto is also the location of the Hector Peterson Memorial. This is the photo of Hector Peterson. And that's the boy that got killed.
The little boy, the 13-year-old that got killed in that courtroom. 16th of June, 1976. Church. They ran from the four corners, they ran into the church. And they ran into the church to ask for help because the police were shooting at them. They were school kids, don't forget, they were children. The police arrive just after that and they start shooting from outside to the inside of the church, through the windows. The priest, he comes out with his hands up and he says to the people, he says to the policeman, stop shooting, this is the house of the Lord and we have children inside the house of the Lord. But apartheid was arrogant, people. Apartheid was rich, apartheid was very cynical. So the captain of the police, he says to the priest, he says, these children, they don't have a piece of paper, they don't have an order, they don't have permission to be inside the church. So we want them out of there. So they start lobbying tear gas. They start lobbying tear gas inside the church. They release the dogs inside the church, and then they themselves to go into the church and they start shooting onto the roof of the church to get the children out. And in this whole entire confusion, 14 kids died. The youngest one here was 14 years old. But that was the arrogance of apartheid. Apartheid was like that.
Our next step was the Mandela Sanctuary, where Nelson Mandela lived after he left prison. This is Sun City. Look at the interior of the dome here. And the hotel and grounds are absolutely beautiful. And the room accommodations were absolutely fabulous. That's a lot of absolutelys and fabulouses. And yeah, it's all of that. How amazing is this? Look at the pool. So the pool below. And then you can see this lake out here. Near the pool. The lake. This is the base of the hotel lake. And then they have a waterfall that they built. And you see over there, that's the roof of another hotel building. And then you see in the distance another hotel. There's 4 hotels on this property. Then the lake, like in the center, is a man-made lake with waves. Need waves. And so this is part of the palace that I'm standing on. And it has, then this is the last, you see the buildings in the far distance. Those are lodges. As you come to do your safari, you can rent a lodge.